We are following two breaking news stories at this hour. We begin in Ukraine, though, where a civilian airliner has gone down. Our correspondent Roee Ruttenberg is live in Kiev, gathering all the latest information. Roee, what are you learning on the ground there?
We've just heard from Ukraine's security chief here blaming Russian intelligence officers for being involved in the crash. The foreign ministry has released the audio of what it says are two phone call conversations. Let me break them down for you. The first, they say, is between a separatist commander in the east of Ukraine informing Russian intelligence officers of that crash. The second is a conversation between two separatists, the foreign ministry says, in which they discuss the separatists' involvement in that crash. It's, of course, unconfirmed at the moment. We've also heard a statement coming from the Russian news agency RIA Novosti saying that President Vladimir Putin in Moscow has held Ukraine responsible, saying that it is the responsible party, the country where this Malaysian Airlines Flight 17 has crashed, and therefore it is the responsible party. It is the one, he said, that has continued its offensive on those separatists in the east, and therefore is to blame for this incident. We also understand that the U.S. Vice President Joseph Biden, speaking in Detroit, has said this is not an accident, this is not a one-off incident, this was an act that involved the plane being shot down by a missile, and that that Britain has urged the United Nations Security Council to convene urgently to discuss the situation in Ukraine. That meeting now scheduled to happen on Friday at 3 p.m. in New York. All of this late breaking information here, and we understand that Ukrainian authorities and the separatists may be agreeing on a 72-hour truce, an unprecedented truce that would allow international investigators access to that crash site.
Roee, how much of a blow is this for the region if, in fact, it's determined this plane with more than 200 people on board was shot down?
Well, this would definitely take it to a situation, an escalation that is just beyond Ukraine's borders. This has been a conflict that's been going on for about 4 months. Ukraine has been waving the flag, trying to get both the European Union and the United States on board. We've seen them stepping up the sanctions against Russia, perhaps not as much as Ukraine would have wanted, but this, of course, would be an unprecedented involvement if, and I should stress if, it turns out that the plane was shot down by either separatists in the east, who Ukraine believes are backed by Russia, or indeed by Russian forces. We're now hearing from American officials that they believe that this incident involved a surface-to-ground missile that hit the plane. Some experts saying it doesn't appear that the plane was hit by a missile, but the coincidences seem too great. The fact that this plane went down right over that area where in the last 72 hours, Ukraine says 2 of its own military planes have been shot down by the separatists or by the Russians. The Ukrainians have said that they will cooperate with the Malaysians, with the Dutch. They clearly want to be the ones leading this investigation, but that will be difficult for them since they have limited access to that area that's currently being held by the separatists. And of course, for several weeks now, they have been trying to regain control of Donetsk region, of that ring around Donetsk city, the capital of 1 million people, all the way to the border where that crash site sits. And that's been very difficult for them. No doubt this will give them the international momentum that they need, or at least that they believe they need to proceed.
All right. Thank you so much, Roee Ruttenberg, live in Kiev.